All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Story Time. I am so glad that I'm joined by CJ again because I feel like all the episodes are better when he's there. So appreciate you joining me today.
What up, y'all? How's everybody doing?
It's peachy. Got my coffee to make it through the interview.
See, I'm proud of you.
Thank you. So I'm going to let you do this introduction because when this was actually the first guest that you brought to my attention, somebody that you wanted on the show, and I am so embarrassed. I honestly had never heard of his stage name, his actual name. I had never heard of him by that. So go ahead and explain to everyone who our guest is and then what he's known by, just so people can kind of connect the dots.
So this is a good friend of mine. His name's Jason. I've known him for quite a few years. As you'll find out very soon, this right here is him, but he'll find that out in a minute, which is going to be fun. That's from 2014 from a show in Philly. And so as you might be able to tell, he is a DJ. He used to be known as Heff, which is his last part of his last name. Now he's known as Fluencee. He's worked with people like the Chainsmokers and a bunch of other big artists in the last little bit. And now he's the editor-in-chief of EDM.com. Really, really cool guy. I'm looking forward to you guys getting to know him. I was looking for some extra, reading material about the guy, and nobody ever speaks about the rest of his life. So we're going to have some fun, and we're going to, push his buttons off jump. It's going to be a little bit of fun, and he's probably going to hate me for it, but we're going to have a good time.
And can we just talk about your attire really quick? I have never seen you in a soccer jersey, ever.
Well, first of all, I played soccer from the time I was 5 until I was like 17. So
a 6'5" soccer player, were you goalkeeper?
Yes. I was raised in Holland. Don't forget about that. Like that was my first sport in 1996. And I have a lot of soccer jerseys, which I will start wearing, other than the Chinese one. I have one Chinese one that's a XXL, and it fits like a medium.
Yeah, all Chinese sizing runs so small.
Brutal. It's brutal. But this is a original Seattle Sounders jersey from the 09 season, the first season that we were a team. Notice the Xbox 360 logos and the old MLS logo, killing it, right? And we just had a big playoff win to send us to the finals last night, so I thought it was fitting to pull it on for the boys.
I was kind of depressed, so I didn't watch the match last night because I was protesting, because I have 4 friends on Minnesota United, and none of them traveled. 3 of them were our Reno guys. One was one of my Phoenix friends. None of them made the trip. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to protest. And so the fiance of one of the players was texting me. And then I get a text that just says, oh my God, this game. And I'm like, oh no, what happened? She's like, well, they tied it up. And then overtime in like the 93rd minute or something, they got the go-ahead goal. Well, and I mean, I'm from Seattle. I can't be too mad. I had a friend on the Sounders last year when they won it all, but I was just like, come on now. I was like torn this match.
Well, I mean, this is all I'm going to say. Sometimes you win and sometimes you're Minnesota United. It's fine.
Minnesota sports, it sums it up right there.
Sometimes they have their golden moments, kind of, when the Vikings decide to play well. I mean, they have that one guy, what's his name? Adam Thielen or whatever, who just gets 1 billion fantasy points every game, but he's the only person on that team. So, yeah.
There you go. I don't do fantasy football because every player I draft ends up like getting hurt or having an awful season. So I don't bring the Courtney jinx upon anyone.
I retired from fantasy football after you cheated.
I did not cheat.
Everyone.
You didn't touch your roster. That's not my fault.
Everyone, I just want everyone to know something very, very important about the 2015 fantasy season. Very, very important.
I won.
Courtney did win, but she did it under very, very dubious circumstances because of the fact that she had not one, but 2 teams and was also the commissioner. So she was able to have 4 quarterbacks and not trade any of them. She also had 2 of the top 5 picks, so she was able to get everyone and just hold them.
Gronk and Brady carried my team.
She cheated.
I had like one roster that was all Patriots and another that was like all Cardinals, and it worked out.
You just took everyone and didn't do any trades. You cheated.
You didn't even touch your team, so it doesn't matter. Nobody else in the league touched their team.
I got third that year, and I beat you once. I for sure got third that year, and I definitely beat you once because that was the year when Andrea and I were at a wedding when we first were together. And wait, no, this was the 2018 season. What am I talking about? When we first were together, and we drafted at a wedding.
Well, it all worked out for me in the end. I had a fantasy win. But anyways, back to the important things this episode. So stay tuned, y'all. I am really excited for you to get to know Jason and enjoy the episode.
What's up, everyone? So we are back with Courtney and a very, very good friend of mine, a multi-talented man of mystery that goes by many names, but I know him as a good friend of mine, Mr. Jason Heffler. Jason, how's it going?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. It's very nice to see you. It's been a while.
Yes.
So, burning question, number one burning question is, what's going on with the Eagles, dude?
Why was that the first question? That's so messed up.
I just
is that what we're doing here?
The first thing that I thought about is I go, my guy is huge Eagles fan, fan, and I just need to get your take on this. Courtney's big in pro football as well, and we just need to chat about this really fast.
Okay, so every time I talk about the Eagles with people who aren't fans, I have to bring up 2018. Just don't forget.
Yes.
It's in history. It's done. We won. Okay.
Yes.
Second of all, we're trash. Now, it's the truth. I can admit it. I'm not like all the other Eagles fans who are like, rallying for them. They're not good. Jalen Hurts needs to play. I'm sick of Carson Wentz.
They just announced he's the starter now. Jalen Hurts is going to get the
now, but we've sunk so much money into him, and second overall pick, next year he's just going to be starting again, and you can't have that. Yeah. So that's where my head's at. I think they're trash.
Okay. So you think they're trash, but you think that Jalen Hurts is going to be kind of the savior in this whole thing?
Never said that. Jalen Hurts is really good. He's really good, but I can't remember the last time a scrambling quarterback of that, realm won a ring. Can you?
No.
Yeah. So he's really good, but I don't think he's the long-term answer. Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So what do you think they need long-term then?
I don't know. I maybe a new conditioning coach, because our entire team is injured like crazy, like never before.
Okay,
that's my first answer.
We're going to a full GM experience here. Okay, so conditioning coach out. Changing conditioning coach. What would your second thing be?
Howie Roseman needs to go too. Yeah. I don't know if you realize, but 2 years ago we passed on Metcalf.
Right.
We took JJ Arcega-Whiteside instead. Bust. Last year he passed on Justin Jefferson on the Vikings, and we picked Rager, who could be good, but so far looks like a bust. So 2 monster Pro Bowl guys who we passed on. So I think Roseman needs to go next.
Okay, so we have a lot of reshuffling to do inside of the organization. This sounds like a problem for them. This year sounds like a lost year then.
But what is your team, CJ? I feel like you don't have a team.
Where are you from again?
So I'm originally from here in Seattle, and I I was raised to be a Seahawks fan, kind of, but I left the country before I really like cared enough. So I was in the Netherlands from the time I was 5 until I was almost 10. So I don't know. I kind of just like choose whichever one I want at this point in time. It's like wherever like people I know play, I guess. So
It's whatever city you're in, you wear their gear so people think you're a player when you walk
that's
around.
not. I don't do that here. I don't have any.
There's a word. It's called bandwagoning.
I mean, okay, this is my thing. I really don't like. I don't follow pro football that much. I follow college football way more.
Well, I think you should just stick with the Seahawks because they're amazing.
I mean,
The
yeah,
Seahawks are killing it.
but this is the thing though, is I remember back to my childhood, to like the Trent Dilfer years, just brutal years where things like, oh God, like just the pain. And I'm just like, I've never recovered from that. Just never recovered from the brutal years where we had all the good players and just couldn't win. And then we had Trent Dilfer, so there was no way we were going to win in the first place.
I remember that. It was when you guys had like Matt Hasselbeck and you had Sean Alexander and you guys had the talent, but you didn't go anywhere. Yeah.
Other than I think that in 07 they were kind of good and I think had a playoff run. But either way, I don't know. I just wait for someone I know and I'm like, hey, they're on that team, cool. And then they end up, as Courtney knows, not on that team anymore.
Or they
Who's
end
your
up like
team?
Vontez Perfect and they get kicked out of the league, basically.
Are you a Bengals fan?
No, but we knew Vontez from ASU.
Oh, that's right. He went to ASU. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he just got arrested in Vegas for battery charges. So it's not looking too good for
Wait,
Vontez.
like recently?
When did I send you that article? A couple days ago?
He gets arrested every year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Something new.
Yeah, we as a program, we have probably, I don't know, minimum of one a year. We have minimum of one a year. Usually it's Vontez, but we had a few from like 2014, 2015 were people that were still in college. 2016, I think, was someone that was out of college, and then it was Vontez.
The only person that I can think of that is of note from that school is Brock Osweiler, and he stunk.
I love Brock. I will forever be a Brock Osweiler fan. But my dad, oh my gosh, I don't know if you know the story, CJ, but it was the day after, I think, the ASU U of A game. My dad went to Tempe with me. We grabbed lunch. Brock did not have a good game. And so we're at this barbecue place, and Brock's in line. And I knew him because him and I passed each other all the time, going in and out of class a couple times a week. And my dad, wearing a U of A sweatshirt, walks up to him and says, "Hey, man, good game." And I'm like, "Dad, you can't say that after he blows a game to the
That's
Black
amazing.
Bowl the
That's
day
amazing.
before."
Bear down, though.
It was, I have 3 Wildcats in my family, so it was
Ooh.
a story that my dad will like be proud of forever.
That's hysterical. And you must have been a pariah if that was the case.
Yeah.
Going to ASU and having all those Wildcats in your family.
Yep. I hear about it every rivalry game, but I wanted to stay near the sports. But I'm very curious how you two know each other, because I know, CJ, when you moved across the country, you did a million other things. So how exactly did your guys' friendship start?
So back in college, I operated this podcast, this like electronic podcast called The Drop. It got pretty big, actually. I forget how many users, listeners we had, but it got pretty big, like a top 100 iTunes podcast. And I put them together. I did all the selection, the DJing and all that. And then we brought on CJ to do our socials and our marketing, and he crushed it. Yeah.
He loves the social media. That's for sure.
We had a good time though. Like I remember kind of closer to the end, we had like some pretty, like we had like Nicky Romero come on, and we had most of like Hardwell's label come on, even though for some reason he just couldn't do it. But like, I mean, we had a lot of fun and like, I mean, a lot of social interaction. I mean, Jason took over the Instagram after the whole thing was done. And how many followers you have now?
On my personal or the drops?
On the one that came from the drop.
Oh, that's right. It's up to 26K now. So yeah, it's started up. Like you said, we did have some monster artists on there do guest mixes, and it got pretty big.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and it really, I mean, and obviously it was really able to, with all the issues that we had with another party in the situation, it was really able to launch, you know, your career to where it is now.
It definitely helped. Yeah, I mean, it definitely helped contact-wise.
Yeah.
You know, because when you're, I don't want to say like, crossing paths with, but when you're like talking to all these managers and agents and everybody in an email thread, and you're able to, you know, start a good network.
Right.
Yeah.
And so how was doing all of that during college? Like, I can only imagine that you were, you know, staying busy as all hell. I know that even just with all the mixing and everything for the podcast, it took the entire week. So how was kind of doing all that during college and producing music and all these things?
So at the time I wasn't producing yet. So it really wasn't that taxing. Like the selection aspect was tough, and you know, because you really had to like have your ear to the ground to really know what's hot and what's, you know, mixable and
right.
whatever. So I wouldn't say it took that much time, but once I started producing my own stuff and realizing how much time and effort and dedication and learning and research goes into that, the podcast really fell by the wayside. So I think for like the first year and a half or so, I was all in on the podcast, and it really helped me like learn how to, you know, beat match and find out what song is in what key and which songs go well together and all that. But yeah, once I started producing, it just totally dropped off.
But now it's all about building your own brand. And so how's that been over the last few years?
It's been a long road. It's been tough to build my own brand. I mean, I went through a major like identity crisis there for a while. When I first thought I was good enough to produce and release my own stuff, I just picked the name Heff because my last name's Heffler. But then I quickly found out that there were like 50 Heffs on Spotify. It was impossible to Google search because Hugh Hefner would pop up, and there was all this weird crossover. So I ditched that name like really quickly. Well, actually, not really quickly. After a year of like toiling away as Heff, I dropped that name. I went through a couple other really dumb names that my friends roasted me for that I'm not gonna say here. And then I'd say about 3 years in of me like feeling confident enough to put out my own stuff, I landed on the Fluencee name.
So tell everybody a little bit more about where that name comes from. So I know that it's a very personal, it's a very special story. So this is really what I wanted to kind of get to the root of, and this is a very cool story. So please share.
Yeah, so the name, you can hear that I have a stutter. It's something that I've dealt with my whole life, and I got bullied a lot as a kid. I had a hard time making friends, like reading in class, speaking to anybody, really. Because when you're a kid, like you don't understand that what's going on in my head and how it's like a actual, you know, flaw. You just think the kid's weird and you just don't talk to him. So growing up with it was really hard. But then as I got older, I started to realize that like I could use it to, you know, spin it as a positive. not hide behind it, really like use it to my advantage. So I ended up picking the name Fluencee as a way to like reflect that I'm speaking fluently with the music that I was making. So once I like started to use the story behind it, it really started to gain traction and people really started to relate. And that was the name. It just like stuck after that.
And so is that something that, you know, moving forward, you kind of want to have as part of your brand, is being able to help, being able to inspire this group of people that, you know, might by their peers, especially at a younger age, be seen as kind of a quote unquote a weird group?
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just with stuttering too, because like stutterers they're not very, not like people don't know that many stutterers. Like we're kind of a rare breed, so it's more to focus on storytelling, right? Like if you have this flaw that people think is strange, you should use it as part of a larger story, right? It's more, the brand is more for that, to inspire you to tell your own story in a way that no one else can.
I can definitely appreciate that, and I feel like that comes through in your music in a huge way. But I mean, when you're outside of music, right? When you're 100% outside of music, what is the thing that brings you the most like calm? What are you doing when there's just nothing else around and you're just being you?
I think well, there's two things: sports, that's why I'm glad you kicked this all off. When I'm watching sports, I'm another person. I'm like screaming at the red zone, like I'm a nut job.
Yeah.
So I can really be myself when I'm, you know, watching the Eagles and stuff. And then the other side is when I'm with my fiance, you know, I can be myself and just unplug and forget about everything.
So when did you guys get engaged?
So we got engaged December 2019.
Okay.
Supposed to get married May of this year. And then we postponed it to May 2022.
2022?
Yeah, because I want a traditional, fun wedding where no one needs to be skittish with dancing and clinking drinks and like, I didn't want to have one of those rushed, like, what do they call them? Shotgun weddings?
Yeah.
Yeah. So by then we'll have been together for 10 years. So at this point we were like, what's another fucking year? Right.
Yeah. How did you propose? Is there a cute story?
Yeah, kind of. I held a bonfire on the beach in LA and I invited all of our friends there, but like the bonfire was something that we had always talked about doing. So it didn't like give away the proposal. So like all of us were at the bonfire and then I asked her to go down to like the water, just like, hey babe, let's like take a walk. So we walked down and I had coordinated so her family's from Tucson. So I had coordinated with them. So the moment I walked down to the water, my best friend, one of them, he ran out to the parking lot, grabbed them and brought them over to the bonfire so they could watch me propose. And then after I proposed, we walked back and she saw the family there, which was like a surprise.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it was very nice. And then the ocean, what I didn't plan that worked out amazingly was the ocean had like dolphins just jumping in the background. It was wild. Like
what?
The timing the pictures are nuts. Like, yeah, there were dolphins and the sunset was like 6 different colors. It was insane.
It's like a Disney movie.
Oh,
Yeah, it really was. It was fucking crazy.
Love it.
Yeah.
And that's how you know about the Wildcats then, because their family's from Tucson.
Yeah. I mean, and we met in Arizona. That's where we went to college.
Wait, you're a Wildcat too?
Yeah, that's why I was like bear down earlier.
I assumed that there was some connection. I just didn't know you went to U of A. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I graduated in 2013.
Oh my gosh, you graduated May 2013?
Yes.
Okay. You were a year and a semester before me, as December
Okay.
2014.
Nice.
Small
Yeah.
world. I feel like there's always people from Arizona somehow. Like even
Everywhere.
here in Reno, there's a few Sun Devils. There was one Wildcat before, but we represent everywhere, that's for sure.
Hell yeah. Pac-12.
Yes.
So just get out of Arizona after a while because it's just so hot.
Yeah, the summers are crazy. Oh my God. Like, I had a car in college that I was taking classes that summer, and by the end of it, the sun had melted like the paint job. And it went from this like really nice, like blackish color into this disgusting like maroon pink type thing.
Oh,
And my
no.
friends roasted me for months.
Oh.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Did the heat ever pop like the bottom of your shoes? Because my brother's baseball coaches used to wear the Nikes with like the air bubbles, and they would literally pop because the cement was so hot.
That's crazy. No, I've never heard that, but doesn't
That
surprise me at all.
that happened to you, CJ?
I had to get new shoes from the program like 3 different times that 1 year.
Damn.
It's also because I was like heavy, but it was like 110 degrees, and it was just they were not happy with the strain I was putting on them. That's all
That's a double whammy. Yeah.
yeah, it was not great. I mean, so it goes. But so okay, Hef, here's another question. Who's the coolest person you've ever met in your life? Like the coolest celebrity you've ever met? Because I know that you've met some pretty cool people.
Oh my God, it's tough. Coolest celebrity I've ever met. Okay, I met Turtle from Entourage.
No way.
Jerry Ferrara. I met him at just at a bar in LA called Parlor. And I ended up peeing next to him at a urinal. He was really cool.
Did you talk to him in the bathroom though, like while you guys were peeing?
Briefly, yeah. Yeah, that's why I think he's so cool. Because like, if a fan were to try to talk to you mid pee, most celebrities are gonna ignore you. Yeah. But he was like, "Hey man, like, great to meet you too."
Love that.
He's a nice guy. Yeah.
Jesus. Oh, I just thought of another something really random. Is your brother still gonna do the whole space concert thing?
Loaded question. So I think so, but I don't know what COVID-19 has done to the whole venture.
Of course.
But I mean, before COVID, it was all systems go. Yeah.
So Courtney, I don't know if I told you about this, but so Hef's brother Josh does some cool stuff from what it seems, and he was set to do like an actual concert in space with Virgin Galactic and what was it, Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Long story short, Virgin Galactic is Richard Branson's space arm.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're trying to get consumers like us into space. Mm-hmm. So part of, I guess, their whole launch, I guess, was they were planning to put Lady Gaga into a spacecraft with all these astronauts, beam her up into space, and live stream a concert back down to Earth. And she went on Fallon or Kimmel or one of the two, and she like announced it. It was all happening, and then I think they had a successful test launch, and then I think COVID hit. So it's I'm sure now the project is throttled, but don't quote me on that.
If anybody was going to perform in space, it would be Lady Gaga.
It's Gaga. Yeah, she's like the most groundbreaking, revolutionary, innovative singer ever.
Yeah, well, hopefully it does happen, because I know working in the sports industry, people want some sort of normalcy back. So I feel like concerts, sporting events, all of that, as soon as COVID is clear, I mean, it's going to be what everybody wants to do. And I cannot wait for that.
Me too.
That's for sure.
It's going to be a long road, though. Like there's, when you say clear, like I don't think that moment is solid. Like there's not going to be one palpable moment where headline that says COVID is clear, everyone go.
Yeah.
Like I think this is going to be like a late 2022 even type deal.
Yeah. Good news is the vaccine, though, and hopefully, I saw on Twitter the first 2 people in the world today got their vaccines. So, I mean, hopefully it's a good start. I know Arizona is starting to do them, but I know we all want to get back to work and doing what we love. So, fingers crossed it happens sometime soon. I know we were the first to shut down, and we're going to be the last to come back. But
yeah, it's a shame, but yeah, hopefully it happens sooner.
Yeah, what have you been doing during COVID? From like, are you just producing music at home, or what does it look like for you the past several months?
Well, yeah, it's a mix of 2 things. I'm producing a lot. That's good. And then my role, my job is with EDM.com. I'm their editor in chief. So I've been doing that since the onset of the pandemic, like back in March.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I'd say most of my days are spent on EDM.com, and then I'll spend like my hours from like 7 to 2 a.m. producing.
Does your fiance ever get annoyed with it, or do you have your own like soundproof room that you do it?
Yeah, so it used to be bad. We lived in a 1-bedroom like right before COVID, so it was tough. But we moved to a 2-bedroom, and now I've got my own office / bedroom or home studio. So now it's much easier. We each have our own workspace now, which is clutch.
Love it.
Yeah.
With EDM.com, though, you get to interview some cool. You just did an interview with oh god, you wrote a piece on the guy that does all the songs in hotel rooms.
Mark Rabouillet.
That's the one.
Yeah. Oh my god. Did you read it, or did you?
No, I saw it. I haven't got the chance to read it yet, but I saw it literally in the last couple days.
That piece was I'm one of the most proud of it in my career as a journalist.
Okay.
You got to look into this guy. He's an absurdist musician. So like, he'll go up there and he'll rap about things I probably can't say on this show, but people like John Mayer, Snoop Dogg, Erykah Badu, all these like legends are flocking and asking to collaborate with him. And he's really a fascinating, like his life you should just read the article because it's amazing. Yeah. But people like him, I get to interview constantly and cover, and yeah, the gig's amazing.
So what kind of other interesting people have you gotten the chance to interview, to talk to?
The interviews don't really happen often for me because as the editor-in-chief, I have to like, every piece of content that is published is assigned by me, revised by me from all of my writers, all that. So that takes too much time for me to do many interviews, because when you interview, you have to do the actual interview, you have to transcribe it, and then you have to write it, which could take weeks.
Right.
So I don't really do a lot of the interviews myself, but I've assigned interviews with Dylan Francis, like Skrillex, like all those, big name guys.
Jesus. That Dylan Francis one must have been an absolute hilarity.
It's coming up. It's right now. It's happening now. Yeah. Yeah, he's a riot.
Oh. So, okay, so then you've probably worked with a lot of different artists. Who's like the weirdest artist you've worked with?
It was this guy that I just told you about.
Really?
I mean, I can tell you like a little bit about him. Is this show R-rated? Like, what's the deal?
It says not for kids on YouTube, so anything goes.
Let me try to think about what I can say. So he'll sing and rap about like performing sex acts on your grandmother, like stuff like that. But it's not noise. Like there's actual musicality to it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's by far the most absurd artist I've ever spoken to. But the stuff he does was both like it was shocking but mesmerizing too at the same time. I mean, the fact that this guy is able to do what he does and appeal to all these legends is amazing.
I'm reading the article right after this. I'm curious.
Everyone I show this guy to is just at first it's like absolute shock. Like they're not in belief that it's real. Yeah. And then they start cracking up and they love the guy. So, I mean, he's by far the most interesting guy I've interviewed. Yeah.
Would you recommend him as a guest on this show, or would it be way too wild?
I would, because when I interviewed him, mm-hmm. I was expecting a wacky, zany guy, but mm-hmm. he's the most articulate, like, he's articulate. He's like smart. Clearly, he's just like an expert brander, where he's branding himself this way. So I would say yes.
Interesting. All right, also, CJ.
Listen to the song Milan. Highly recommend the song Milan. He makes it in a hotel room, and it might be the funniest song that has ever been made ever.
Okay.
Got to do it. Courtney, you'll laugh like an absolute imbecile when you listen to this song. It's the fun, like I can't control myself when I listen to this damn thing.
All right, I will do that. Okay.
And for somebody to make you laugh, CJ, you have the most obnoxious, loud laugh in the world. So that's a success.
Listen, he's good at what he does. I heard about him, I guess, earlier this year when one of my old colleagues was like, have you seen this guy that makes a bunch of music in hotel rooms at every stop of his tour? And I go, no, but I'm interested here. And
it piques your interest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy that pops up, and shit happens, so it goes.
Yep.
There you go.
But so, Heff, what other sports are you into? Are you just a football guy?
I used to be into baseball when I was a kid, like a huge Phillies fan. But I kind of fell off that. So yeah, at this time, it's pretty much just football. Yeah, hardcore, like fantasy guy.
Okay.
Well, this Friday at 4 p.m., or I think 4 p.m. Pacific time, is Territorial Cup, ASU U of A. We'll see if it gets canceled because of COVID. But are you into college football? Like, will you still watch U of A football games?
I'm not. I wish I was. I wish I was more into college. I'm just not. I can't explain it. It's that dichotomy. You're either into one or the other, but not both. And you can't explain it, but that's just the way it is. Yeah.
So March Madness is no, but what about NBA?
Love March Madness.
Okay.
Love March Madness. I can get it, but I don't know anything about the teams. But I love it.
All right.
So
it's really just the NFL and fantasy. Like my fantasy league, we get personal. There's a big punishment, and like for last place, and it's really bad. Our fantasy league's wild.
Is your brother in the league?
He is. He is.
Yeah, that I could only imagine how wild that punishment is.
Brutal. We can be brutal. I gotta tell you the punishment of the league,
Right.
which yesterday, like this week is the last week before playoffs.
Mm.
So the punishment was decided because it's whoever's last by the time the playoffs hit. So it's my friend Brad, and basically you have to live stream yourself from an IHOP for 24 hours, and you have to, every pancake that you eat decreases 1 hour off the time, and you have to wear a pancake Halloween costume, which it's like from here to your waist, and it looks like a giant pancake, and you have to do it for 24 hours or until you eat 24 pancakes.
Brutal.
Oh my gosh.
So that's our fantasy punishment.
I'm sure it's not the craziest thing that's happened in an IHOP. They're probably like, all right.
Oh, definitely not. There are some crazy people in IHOP.
What have been some past punishments? Have there been any worse than this?
Last year was, I think, worse. But Josh, my brother, he lost, but he weaseled his way out of it. He found some dumb like loophole that everybody wasn't cool with. But the punishment was supposed to be that you go on into Santa Monica, like on the pier, on a Saturday where everybody congregates, and you wear a sign, like one of those double-sided signs that says, "I lost my league. Help me with these water balloons." And you're holding a giant bucket of water balloons, and everybody just picks up a balloon and pelts you all day.
Oh no.
So that's what I thought is worse than the pancake thing, but
how do you get out?
I didn't lose, so I don't know.
And he just weaseled himself out of it in the end?
Yeah, he the way it works is it's whoever has the worst record.
Right.
And he said like he had the worst record, but he thought it was the whole year plus the playoffs and not before the playoffs. So basically he was like, the year's not over yet. Like the playoffs are happening and I'm in these consolation games. And if I win these consolation games, then I don't have to do the punishment, if that makes sense.
So did someone have to end up doing the punishment, or did he just weasel out and then the rest of it was just not happening?
He weaseled out of it and no one did it. It was a waste. Yeah.
That's unfortunate because that was a very, very good one.
Great punishment. It would have been hysterical.
Oh yeah. Almost as bad as I don't know if you remember the picture of someone at a festival sent me, like, it was either you or your brother sent me this video of someone getting kicked in the face.
Oh my God, yes.
What?
Oh my God, that was
a video somewhere. It's literally, I don't know where they were, but it was someone at a festival, and there was this guy standing there, and there was this woman that must have been 7'5", and she just roundhouse kicks this. I'm dead serious. Just roundhouse kicks this dude to the face.
She's a big influencer. She's got like millions of followers on Instagram, and we wanted her to kick our friend in the face.
Oh, so you knew the person that got kicked in the face?
We knew him. Yeah, it's this guy named Jeff, and he's the man, but he's a little off in the best way. Like he's hilarious, and he volunteered to get kicked in the face by this girl.
Oh no! How much taller was she than him? I doubt she was 7'5", CJ.
He was like probably like 6 foot.
See, that's an inch taller than me, CJ. Don't call a tall girl 7'5".
That was embellishment.
He wasn't tall. He was not that tall. I'm gonna see if I can find this video because it was.
He's a little shorter, so it may have looked that way.
Like, and she literally
just can find videos of every.
I think I have it.
I know I have.
CJ still digs up videos from like my 21st birthday, so I don't doubt that he has the video.
I have it.
Oh, there it is.
Can you see it?
Oh no. He went down hard. Did he have like a huge bruise on his face?
Yeah, he walked around the festival with like a shoe mark on his face.
Oh no.
You remember that?
Yikes. It sounds like going to a festival with you guys would be like the end of my life. I'm not a partier, I'm not crazy, but all of this sounds wild.
Yeah, I'm not sure you could hang. But like that was years ago, and now that festival, like right when COVID hit and festivals bit the dust, you know, I was 28, and I think like once you're near the end of your 20s, you start to lose that luster of going to every festival, and you think the hangover is going to be 3 days long. And so like right when like now, before COVID, I was like gung-ho, let's do this festival, this festival, this festival. But now that COVID hit and festivals are gone, I've lost it. Like I don't think I can do festivals anymore, even when they could come back.
I'm the same way. I'm 27, and I've noticed also here in Reno, the elevation's pretty brutal. But like I have a couple shots and I'm hungover for like 3 days now. It's terrible.
It's brutal. And when you're younger, and being at ASU and me at U of A, we party a lot. They're fun schools. And you always say, I'm going to be able to do this forever. I'm invincible. This is never going to, those losers who are in the real world aren't going to, that's not going to be me.
Yeah.
But it's happening in droves right now. And like, I know that if I did Electric Forest again, which is 4 days, I would be out of commission for a week after, and my work would suffer. It would be a disaster.
Yeah, have to get hooked up to those like IV places that do that.
Yeah.
Oh man, well,
those are lifesavers. Those are the absolute best thing in the world.
You've done it?
Yeah, I did it like, what is it, December? I did one in September right after my wedding, and it was dope. You just sit there, you feel like a new person. Like afterwards, you're sitting there and you're just like, why do I do this all the time? It's just you're all hydrated and not tired anymore. Like you're on your late 20s.
By the way, congrats again.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It was a beautiful day. I wish that we were able to have more people there, but we'll be having a celebration soon enough. So, we'll be able to.
You can come to Scottsdale. It's in Scottsdale, right? Hopefully.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be at the house.
Come party in Scottsdale with us.
Hey, if I'm invited, I'm down.
Dude, let me know if you can make it there. You're invited for sure. 100%.
I mean, I'm in LA, and my fiance's family's in Tucson, so we drive. It's an easy drive. Yeah.
100%. You guys are in. Love to
awesome. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I know we're taking up a lot of your time, but we really appreciate it. Like I said, CJ was so excited for this interview. Bummed we had to reschedule last week, but it was worth the wait. It was so great to finally meet you, and I look forward to, I guess, seeing you next year at CJ's party.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. And CJ, we have to keep in touch more often, okay?
Yes, Jay, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you, my guy.
You're welcome. Take care, guys.